a tax strategist, and I've been in the finance industry for over 18 years. As a solopreneur, right, or someone who's an entrepreneur. Hello, Five Family. Welcome to another episode of the Tax Takeover. I'm super excited about tonight because we have a special guest who is joining us. She is an income strategist, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. I definitely want to make sure that you are in the chat with your questions. Get your pens, get your notebooks ready. This is going to be another engaging and very educational conversation that we're going to have tonight. All right. So I hope you are ready. So if you are joining us for the first time, my name is Samara Andrews. I am the host of the Tax Takeover, and I am your resident tax strategist. That is right. I'm also an enrolled agent with the Internal Revenue Service. So what that means is that I have an in-depth understanding of the tax code, and I use that knowledge to leverage for my clients so that they can keep more of their hard-earned money in their pocket legally. That's right. Through a tool that we call tax planning. We have a motto here on the Tax Takeover. The wealthy don't start tax planning once they become wealthy, but rather use tax planning as a tool to grow and protect their wealth, right? That's what the Tax Takeover is all about. And that's why we come before you every week with these engaging and educational conversations, okay? So tonight we are going to be having an enlightening conversation with our income strategist, Angelica Prather, right? And she's going to help decode the importance of creating diversified income streams that is going to build lasting financial stability in both business and y'all in retirement. So I want to make sure that you stay tuned until the very end. She's also going to share a special giveaway for all of the viewers tonight. Okay, Five Finance Family. So she's going to bless you. So make sure that you stay until the very end so that you can learn how to connect with Angelica after the show and definitely take advantage of her special giveaway. So without further ado, let's welcome Miss Angelica Prather to the show. Hello, Angelica.
Hello, Phi family. How are you?
Great. I'm so happy to have you on for the third time.
Yes, it's
Ah,
my third time. Yes, three
yes.
times a charm.
Three times the charm. She's been rocking with us. So we're super, super blessed to have you in the building tonight. I cannot wait for this conversation. But before we jump into it, do you mind introducing yourself to the Five family?
Yes, so I am Angelica Prather. I am an income strategist and pricing specialist, and I have the privilege of teaching entrepreneurs to unapologetically charge for their greatness. And I do that through a series of ways. I merge biblical principles with pricing strategy to teach you exactly how to run your business operating without it running operating you so that you
Mm.
have time and freedom to do all the things that God has called you to do. So that's what I do.
Mm. And it's so short and sweet, y'all, but I promise you there is a lot of science behind it. And that's why I wanted to have Angelica on the show to give us practical ways to approach this, right? So tonight we're talking about diversifying our income. Everybody is trying to do it. It is a hot topic. And most importantly, people are really trying to, not run themselves into a grave by like overworking themselves. So I love your approach already. And y'all, I know it works because I've tried it. Okay. So again, make sure you take your notes. So before we get into it, I do want to ask a question about like diversifying your income and how does it relate to pricing strategies? Because you also
Mhm.
say you're a pricing strategist. So, how
Yes.
does income diversification relate to pricing strategies in business? And why is it essential for achieving financial stability?
Okay, so to start off, when you hear diversification, depending on where you are in your business journey, would be where I would recommend to really start. Because first time startups are not looking to diversify their income. They're looking to make income and just be strategic. So I usually start preparing most of my clients when they're at that 6-figure mark, maybe 150 to 200. That's where we really start to diversify. What are other income streams that you can have? So when we're talking about diversification and how it can be related to pricing strategy, the three areas that I really like to pay attention mainly for is that your income diversification involves spreading your revenue seamlessly, right? And then it's the power of balancing your income because you might be a service provider and receiving income in one traditional way, but we want to find other ways to balance out how the revenue is coming into business. And then related to pricing strategy, it helps the risk mitigation. And so when you're only receiving income from one source of hands, then you don't have other revenue streams. Like if one is a little bit slower or the economy is changing, you have the other legs to hold you up in your business. And then it also gives you the flexibility and the adaptability in your business. And so when we're looking to understand how pricing strategy comes in that there's all different ways or all different methods of pricing strategy. Mine happens to be value-based pricing. But if you are, let's say, a salon owner or you're in some type of service base that it's like one-on-one clients, you might want to pick different revenue sources that are going to match with your clientele. And so there's cost-based pricing, there's dynamic pricing strategies. There's just depends on the way your business is structured. And I find that most business owners are not very clear on what their price strategy currently is. They just copy from everybody else and then say, oh, I'm charging this. But does that really help you with diversifying your income? So the first thing is really understanding where's your business revenue at. And if you're not at that 6-figure mark, then we need to get you to the 6-figure mark. And that's easy to do with just a price strategy
Wow.
correction.
Wow. And it's funny that you say that because with service-based businesses, right? I feel like there is a little more science that goes into it. If you think about a product, right? And you think about somebody like a Walmart or a Target selling a product, okay? So they're going to buy that product at one cost and then they're going to mark it
Mm-hmm.
up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
cost to provide that product to you. And then that's how they make their profit, so to speak. But when you think about a service, there is a little more science that has to go into it because my knowledge, my expertise, right, may have a different value price attached to it than say someone else's, right? So I
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's so I like that. I like that you combat people saying, "Hey, I just charge this price because Shelly down the street charges the same price." No, you're not Shelly down the street. You probably don't
No.
even offer the same services Shelly down the street offers. So,
Not one bit. Not one
yeah,
bit. And I think it's confusing when we hear service based, we don't know what is the value and really how to articulate that so that people can understand. They feel freedom with charging a certain price, but a lot
mm,
of it is just copycat. And that's why I specialize in focusing on service based business owners because it's not easy to just come up with a price tag.
right.
It's a lot of emotion tied to it.
Oh, absolutely. Because when I went through your program, honey, I was emotional.
Yes, because it's hard to put a price on your
Yeah,
knowledge.
yeah,
It's hard to put an ROI on what the client is receiving. So
right,
you need a mix of understanding. And then a lot of us just do it effortlessly.
right,
But doing something effortlessly and understanding what the value that someone's getting, like
right.
I use your services as well. And I know that at the end of the year, I'm not going to jail. Period, right?
Exactly.
I know that I don't know the tax code. I don't really want to know the tax code. I have
Right,
enough knowledge by watching your show to help me to be able to articulate and
right,
refer clients or just cross promote with you. However, I know that the ROI for me is that I'm number one, I'm going to save on the most amount of taxes. That's huge for me. I work really
right,
hard. I want my money, but
right,
I don't want to go to jail, right? That's a huge ROI. And that peace of mind, to me, there's no real price tag on it because if I do it incorrectly, and I end up in jail, they're not coming after Samara. They're coming after me
right. That's right.
because so I think that it just depends on what the
Right.
ROI and how you articulate that through your
No.
unique value.
That's very good. And it's so funny that you made that analogy because I have a client that says the same thing to me every time we meet on every month. She's like, girl, I just don't want to go to jail. So that's why I got you. It's like,
I
okay.
mean, it's a real deal. I mean,
Yeah.
and we're joking about it, but
Right.
realistically, there's a lot of business owners that are not
Right.
conducting their business in the right way. And
Correct.
it's just a lack of knowledge. And if you don't have the knowledge, then you shall perish. And you don't have to perish if you partner with the right people and it's in full alignment, then it makes more sense. And when you tie it into pricing strategy, most people are undercharging just because they don't understand the value of what
Right.
they're actually offering to their clients.
Yep, and I love that. I love that you are shedding light on that, especially for entrepreneurs who are out here. Some of us just making it up as we go, right? Now, you
Hmm.
did mention different pricing strategies, and if you don't mind, I would love to revisit that. So,
Yes.
I heard you talk about value-based pricing. What are some other innovative pricing models or strategies that businesses can adopt to remain competitive and profitable?
Well, of course, I'll save the best for last.
Okay.
But dynamic pricing is one of my top favorites because a
Okay.
lot of people in the service-based industry, I don't care if you're an accountant, a hairstylist, I don't care if you are a barber, an attorney, people wait to the last minute to do everything, no matter how
Hmm.
many emails, text messaging. So dynamic pricing strategy is one of my favorites because it's moving your income and your pricing strategy at the rate of a demand. So think
Mm.
about Uber. Uber does this all the time. They change their rates based on the time that somebody is looking for a service. So it's like a hot time. So I'll give an example for myself. If I am a consultant, I'm a business consultant, and someone comes to me and say, "Hey, I want to do my pricing strategy completely over. I have these new clients that I'm about to come into my business. Maybe they're going to be doing a huge contract, and they want me to expedite it. I'm giving an expedited price for the time and the ROI that they're going to get. I've done the same exact thing in other businesses where I help them. It's like, okay, if let's say someone comes to you and they want to do taxes and they want a 3-day turnaround. What someone is clearly asking you is that I need you to stop doing what you're doing and help me before everybody else who paid, who did everything on time. But because I have to go above and beyond and do this, now I have to charge you a premium rate to get you that ROI immediately. So that's my favorite.
Okay.
And then and I think that every business, every service provider should have their dynamic pricing strategy in place to know exactly how much they should be charging. And I've done a whole video about this, and it's very easy. Okay. My second one is a subscription based model. I feel that in this day and time, everybody is subscribing, or they're a membership, or they have something that they're subscribing to. If you look at almost everything, our phones, now you can get mattresses and you're paying a recurring revenue. I think that every service provider needs to have this pricing strategy in place because it helps with your cash flow. You stop guessing, you stop waiting for new clients or old clients. So if you don't have a recurring revenue model, and I think that the next wave within the next 5 to 10 years, everybody's going to subscribe to something.
Mm.
And I think that's one of the pricing structures that we need to all implement. And it doesn't matter, it can work for any business. Okay. And then my favorite, last but not least, is value based pricing. I created my own merging that helps service providers really understand how much it costs for them to be in the business and how much ROI they should be making. So, value based pricing is literally about the perceived value that your service is offered. And I like to take it a step further with really understanding how you really pay yourself as the money comes in.
Mm.
And so that's my top favorite one because I feel like it helps service providers not only to pay themselves a great salary, but also to plan for the future. So if you're living right now off of, let's say your business is generating 500,000, which is a pretty great number right now,
Right.
but you know that your ROI for your corporate clients, you're getting them 10x,
Mm.
20, then yeah, you're making a great amount of revenue, but you're not getting the best ROI, and the results for your clients doesn't match with the perceived value that you're offering. So I find that value-based pricing gives you a greater range, and that's where you play the quantity game and the quality game. And I feel like most service-based business owners are scared of this because they don't understand the science. And that's where I kind of come in,
I,
because I'm the queen of it. I'm just going to say it.
Absolutely. You better say it because you are.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love you breaking down and giving us examples, because if y'all have never experienced that dynamic pricing with you, Uber, let me tell you something. It is all the way real. Because I actually was leaving a concert one time, and I promise you, for us to get down to the concert was like $25. Honey, when that concert let out and we were all trying to find Uber, $100 for the
Yes.
same trip. I was like,
Yes.
okay, Uber. So y'all, they do it and it works. And guess what? I paid it. I wanted to get home. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like it
Well,
is.
here's what dynamic pricing does for any service based business. It doesn't mean that you're robbing the person or anything, it's a high demand.
Right.
And so, like, if we are being very transparent, everybody waits to the last minute. If you would have scheduled that, you wouldn't have had to pay that
There you
$100.
go.
Right? So a lot of times when we are working with our direct clients one on one, that's what most service providers are doing. And when someone is asking you to step over the boundary to push to get you at a certain rate, I have to charge premium to get you there so that I'm making most of my money. See, business is data and numbers. I can't take you for $25 when I can take you for $100, because I don't have enough drivers. I don't have enough people to actually handle the demand. So those who will pay premium pricing, or those who's like, you know what, I'll wait for 3 hours and then I'll get a Uber, that works for them. But I feel that it's important for every business to have, I like to call it your secret menu. That's all
Yeah.
you have it. And then you have all of your itemizing for when that time does come. You have a price point.
Yeah. And I want y'all to understand, if you're watching too, that works with services and also with product based businesses. So if you think
Absolutely.
about even someone, if you think about like a car company, let's say Honda, right? What you may or may not know, Honda has a high end tier, right? That's
Hmm.
their Acuras, huh? And then they
Yeah.
have their low end tier, which is your Honda Civic. Toyota
Hmm.
does the same thing. Ford does the same thing. So it's like all of these companies have taken this approach of having these different price points so that they can accommodate the people at different levels, right? Um,
Yes. Can I
oh,
just add
yeah,
something too? Because
absolutely.
I think that people are in a service-based industry. They're like, I have my core clients, and you
Mm,
will have your core clients. I was a hairstylist before I retired and started being a full-time consulting and pricing specialist. The thing is, you're going to have different clients at different segmented groups. You
right.
want to be able to service those particular people in different segment groups. That's called your value ladder. If every business does not have a value ladder, then you're missing out on opportunities, because somebody who's premium might not want what someone else is
That's
getting. That's the beginner or the introduction. And the introduction is where you play at the game called freemium. That's where you give something for free and then someone's getting some other value on the end. You don't have to play the freemium game, but you
right.
need a value ladder in your for different customer segment to groups, and service providers are missing that. They're like, this is my menu, this is what I'm offering, and that's
Mm,
it. There's
mm,
different customers that's like, I've been admiring you, love what you're doing, but I don't really need all those bells and whistles. My business
right.
is doing this.
Right.
And so that's why you have, if you think every business has a small, medium, large, think about it in premium. You have your premium services and then you have your entry level. And that doesn't mean that you're not giving value. You are giving value. You're just offering something for the premium clients that need that top notch seller. That's like the back door, the VIP. You want to be doing the same thing in your business.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you for like explaining that to the audience. Because, like I say in our motto, right, we meet you where you are on your financial journey. Everybody's not starting at the same place, y'all. So, if you are
Yes.
a small business owner, you're a business owner in general. This is some good, sound information for you to take and put into practice in your business.
Mhm.
But she got more, y'all. So, stay tuned, okay? So now that you explain like the different pricing strategies, it seems like that would work across any industry. But are there specific industries that may struggle with having this income diversification or these different pricing strategies?
Yeah, so we kind of mentioned and talked about it earlier, but even in my particular field, like consulting and professional
Hmm.
services like yourself,
Hmm.
this is one that is very hard because they're
Hmm.
meeting different clients at different segmented groups, and they really don't understand where their clients are, where the value proposition is. They don't understand. They're like, it's an intangible service. So, it's not like they're buying a physical product and then they're getting something that they can hold. So that's where it gets a little bit confusing for a lot of people, consulting service and any type of professional service. It's a little different when you're doing like beauty and maybe you're cleaning someone's house. They know they're going to see the results immediately. But for something that's intangible that people can't see immediately, it's kind of in the back, it becomes a little muddy. Okay. And then
Mm.
like creative industries are also one. It could be very tricky because if you don't do good market research and you're not understanding your target audience to the T, like I always say, they're BFFs, then you can actually be offering things that your clients are just not interested in, and
Hmm.
it will totally miss over the mark, right? And then hospitality and like tourism, it's really competitive. So price sensitive is usually those people that are looking for a good deal. So how
Mm.
do you stand out in a market that's people are always looking for a good deal, including myself as the price guide? I'm like, where's the best price that I could sleep in and be great, right? I want the best, but I'm not trying to pay like my mortgage at this
Okay.
point, or my rent, my full-time rent. So that's where it can be very tricky, but you have to stand on the value. You have to push the unique experience that you offer, the exceptional customer service, and then maybe integrate like loyalty programs. That's where
Mm.
you need to like kind of set yourself apart. So what I like to do is I try to pull out what makes you you. What's your secret sauce? What is it that you do that nobody else does? Because when we lean into almost being a specialist in a certain area, like I'm full fledged, I am a pricing specialist. I don't try to do everybody else's job. I know when it comes to those numbers, I'm going to get you confident. I'm going to help you articulate your value. You're going to know exactly where every dollar should go, why it should go there, so
Mhm.
that you're in full confidence, right?
Right.
It gets tricky if you don't understand the language of your business and you
Mm.
don't have that good relationship with your clients in order to gather what is my
Mm.
unique value proposition, because you just do it, right? You're just
Yeah.
great at it and then you don't really know. But if I came in here and say I'm just a business consultant with no specialty, it's like, well, you just like everybody else. I gotta have you know what I mean? Like
Right.
that doesn't set you apart. So I
Mhm.
think that there are some muddy of the waters, and there are certain industries that it gets confusing because they don't know their unique value proposition.
Mm. So it sounds like in order to overcome those hurdles, like you work with those individuals in those industries or those professions so that they understand their value proposition. Okay. All right. It
That's the key.
seems like that would take a lot, right? Like that's going to take a process, I think, that has to be implemented before you even get to what they connected you with, and that's the whole pricing strategy. But if they put in the hard work up front, I'm sure it pays off in the end. Well, I know it did for me.
Well, I mean, to be truthfully honest, that's why I don't charge peanuts,
Right.
because it is work, right?
It's a lot of
And
work.
most people that I do work with, they're already established, right? So I can already pinpoint what they're not seeing, right?
Right.
And of course, because they are filling out a lot of documentation, they have already a brand, they're already established. It's very easy for me to pull out those things, especially if I've used their services, or especially if they have a live presentation like yourself, a show. I can
Mm.
actually go watch and do my own research. And I'm like, okay, she's sleeping on that. She's sleeping on that.
Right.
She's not sharing that. It makes a world of a difference when I can hear with my own ears, even if I haven't work with them.
Ah,
So a lot of people just don't hear themselves because we like to do the humbleness, right?
right.
Every service provider is like, I just do great work and I'm good. Boo boo, that's great. However, you need to be able to speak at such an authority level that you are a specialist in something, so that you're answering a specific question.
Right.
You're not just an accountant, you're a tax strategist. You're an enrolled agent. What's the difference, right? Every
Right.
CPA is not created equal. And I don't want to work with created equal. I want someone that understands that understands not only the tax game but see the future of where I'm going, because I have a future in my business and so does other service providers. So when you position yourself as this specialist, you're only answering a specific question to help your clients.
That is so good. Because we talked about a little show that I said I want to start called Put Some Respect on My Name. Y'all better put some respect on our name up in
That part.
that part right there. And in that order.
Yes. Yes, yes,
um,
yes.
but definitely, I appreciate you breaking that down and providing like those hurdles and how we can overcome them when we just do the work, do the hard work of understanding our value proposition. Because I know starting out, I struggled with that too. And if you are an entrepreneur watching, I'm sure you struggled with it too if you haven't worked with a pricing strategist like Angelica. And I can only tell you, she is amazing. So
Thank you. Same to
definitely,
you.
yes, stay until the end, y'all, because y'all gonna want to know how to connect with her. But for the sake of time, we're gonna continue to
Yes.
move forward. So now that you
Yeah.
shared that, I want you to explain to the audience if there are any key financial metrics or performance indicators, right, that businesses should be looking at when they're implementing these pricing strategies. Like, how can we tell if they're working?
Mm. Well, this is my favorite question out of all the questions, to
Mm-hmm.
be honest,
Mm-hmm.
because you're always, when you're raising a price, mainly you're afraid of clients leaving you. But one of
Mm-hmm.
the key areas that you want to look at is your customer lifetime value, which I call the CLV. And when you're looking at that particular metric, it's going to show you who was in your business for the price that you offered, who can't grow with you, and then who's going to stay with you because they understand the value that you provide. So that number helps to reflect the total revenue of your business can expect from a customer throughout the lifetime of their relationship. And so that's how you measure that. And if you're using a good software system, then you're going to be able to see how long this client has been in here, how much have they spent for the
Mm-hmm.
year. Even as a hairstylist, I was able to do that. So I knew how long someone was with me, what their ROI, how much time I was able to save them. Any of that, you want to have a good software system that can actually track that. So that's the first metric you need to be looking at. Client acquisition costs. If you're running ads or you are part of a networking group and you're paying out to then receive leads, or you're going out and meeting people and they're coming through your software system, this is why it's important to use a good software system or to have some type of metrics to understand how are your leads finding you. Even for a referral program, if you have an affiliate program within your own service-based business, you should be able to track how much is the client costing you to come into their business. So you want to compare the cost of acquiring a client to their lifetime value, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
That
Okay.
makes sense.
And then you want to move into your profit margin by product or services. So you want to analyze the profitability of each offering to optimize your pricing and your resources allocation. So what I like to do is, if I have a client and I've been working with them for, let's say, 6 months, I'm looking for certain key points in their business. Number one, I am going to see, after they increase their pricing, how many clients did they lose? And then I compare how much money did they lose. And
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, I would say 10 out of 10, they never really lose money because we increase the pricing to match the data, number one. That when they remove people, we're not counting the number of people, we're
Mm-hmm.
counting the quality of the ROI for those amount of clients being in the business. Because what we're looking for is the 80/20.
Mm-hmm.
80% of your clients are going to just spend money randomly. It's the 20% of your business that's going to be the core that's going to spend over and over and over. And that's the sustainability of any business. And that's even in ministry, that's anywhere. So we want to look at those metrics. And it's usually 20% of your business holds down the fort of the business. And then you get random flows
Wow.
of income.
Wow. And that's so true. Because I know when we worked together, that definitely was my experience. I was going to ask you, do you mind sharing an example of a business that like successfully, I know you have had several, But who is your like your
Yes.
favorite? It doesn't have to be me. Who's your
Well, I'm on a tax takeover, so I might as well just say it's you. No, actually, I've worked with attorneys. I've had the
Mhm,
privilege of working at digital marketing company, attorneys, and one thing that's a common thread that I see after my clients increase first after they increase their pricing and they see how much they should be charging, it's usually a gut wrench because they're not
mhm,
ready for it. And I prepare them with language, what to expect, no matter how many emotions, and I make myself available. That's a touch point for me because I know it's an emotional thing because they're
mhm.
connected to their business and they want to serve their clients. But most of my clients have had anywhere between 30 to 50% of an increase because usually most service providers are severely undercharging
Right,
because they don't understand the ROI. As I said that several times,
right.
but it's usually between 30 to 50% of an increase that they're seeing. I know for you personally, and I hope it's okay for me to share
Go
that
ahead.
you had your
Tax
greatest
season.
tax season.
Hmm.
And I won't say the number because it is your show, but looking at that and having a great and doing less work and having
Hmm.
more time to be available to serve in church,
Yep.
you were able to become a better CEO. That's a huge ROI for me because you can't put a price tag on time. And
Right.
as a service provider, that's my greatest metric that I look for.
Right.
What do you gain back of peace of mind? Because as a service provider, you need off. You
Right.
have to take off. And when you're not off, it's not something that I say that I'm looking for, but it's something emotionally that I write down. I write down so much more than I'm not looking just for the data as far as the numbers that you can track. But when I hear I have time to be off, I have more time to work out, I have more time to spend with my children, I've taken a vacation, I hired someone. That's the metrics, that's life, that's ROI beyond paying for my program.
Absolutely. And that was one of the stories that I shared with you. Like I shared with you, I was very transparent that before, being a part of your program, I did not have the time, right, that I used to have. So I wasn't volunteering for my church like I used to do. My husband knew how important that was for me, and he kept asking me, when are you gonna, start volunteering again? I didn't have the time. So during tax season, to be able to have the time to volunteer and get my taxes done was bananas for me. I was like, what? This could be life? What is this?
And it
So
should be life.
yes, it should be life. And I'm ever so grateful for like taking your time and like being patient, walking us through the process. There is a lot of hand holding that has to be done up front, y'all. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But if you trust the process, I guarantee you that there are definitely beauty, right, that you will get for your ashes. Hmm. So I do appreciate you like breaking down and providing us with those real life experiences because I feel like entrepreneurs need to hear that. They want to know like, will this work for me? And if so, like, tell me give me a success story, a success story.
Yeah,
Let me
and I
know
have
that this
tons
is
on
real.
my show. You
Right.
can go over there. I have tons of hairstylists that would work for 30 years, never increased their,
Mm,
well, did increase their prices, but we're talking about $5, $7. Like, girl, you're so behind in inflation. You're not even making enough
right.
money. And the one thing that stuck out for me was she got sick with COVID and didn't have to pull out her savings, had never had a significant savings to pay for all of her bills. And being a hairstylist in New York City and it's the busiest time of the year and you're not able to work because you're sick with COVID, she's like, I had a peace of mind. I never had to pull out. I had all of my money in ducks in a row. And that to me was like priceless because I
Mm,
know that I'm my own client first, to be honest, before I serve anybody else. So I know
mm,
exactly what it feels like, which is why I can hold your hand in
mhm.
spite of what's to come because I know what the emotions are. It's the emotions we're really dealing with.
That is 100% correct,
Mhm.
especially when you're talking about women. It's emotions.
Oh, working with men is totally different. They're like, oh, this is the price. Okay, fine. But the women is like, it's a lot. And it's because
Yeah.
of the nature of who we are
Right.
called to be. And
Right.
then how we serve in our business, we take it personal. And it's not that
Absolutely.
personal, but
A
we do take
hundred
it personal.
percent. We do take it 100%. We do.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So again, thank you for standing in the gap, especially for us women entrepreneur who just need a little more hand holding. And I think also you taking time to explain the process actually helps too. Like it helps you like buy into the fact that, okay, this is going to work. She has a strategy. I have to trust this process. So I appreciate you. So, with that being said, I know for the sake of time, I want to make sure that I'm mindful of time. So, I do want to ask you one last question, if that's okay.
Mhm.
So, because now you have helped so many wonderful entrepreneurs, what advice or best practices do you have for businesses and individuals who are looking to integrate income diversification and pricing strategies in like their long-term planning? What advice do you have?
So the first thing that I always like to say, I go to the word of God. For the lack of knowledge, our people will perish. So this is one that I'm going to stick by, is you have to learn and be able to adapt to the new ways of doing business. And when I say new ways, it's like however you used to charge, it's not going to work in today's society. We get it. Everything is changing. Like I mentioned earlier, subscription based. When I say that to a lot of service based business owners, they're like, I'm not interested. But I'm like, you have no cash flow. And that's a problem. So that's one of the best advice that I always tell people, be open to learning and gleaning to new information, because
Mm,
we're in a world where AI is coming up. You have so many tools that can help you. And so shying away from those particular tools is going to leave you behind the mark instead of leaning into it. So be open to learning. So I would definitely say stay on top of trends and pricing models. So that's
mm,
one. I would definitely say to manage your risk, because
mm,
a lot of things are changing. And since they
mm.
are changing and diversifying your income, you need to be also able to invest in certain areas in your business so that it can grow as the times are growing. And so when you don't manage your risk, or you're not paying attention to the risks that are about to hit your business, you're not prepared, which is exactly what we experienced in the pandemic. So that's my second piece of advice. And then I learned this years and years ago. You can be the smartest person in the room, or you can be the dumbest person in the room with great mentorship. And I want to be the dumbest person in the room with great mentorship. So I prefer to seek expert guidance. As far as financial planning, I believe that you need your power players.
Mhm.
And if you think about the game of basketball, they always got 5 people on a team. So if you are an entrepreneur, whether you're new in business or even if you are experienced in business, there are 5 people that you always need in your back corner, and they need to be on speed dial. You need to have a relationship with them, real relationship where you're able to pick up the phone and they
Yeah.
are accessible. So that is your accountant, your CPA or EA. I like to go a step further. Since my girl got her EA, I'm like, okay, we going for the EA. Okay. We just gonna go there, right? I believe that it's wise to have relation. A lot of people don't know that a pricing specialist even exists, but Fortune 500 companies are around for years, and they
Yes.
have specifically a team that only focuses on pricing. So
Mhm.
you should be in partnership or relationship either once a year to kind of go over and talk about your pricing strategies. Okay. You need a business attorney. I believe that that's very, very important. And I believe that you need a financial planner, somebody who's going to understand the wealth strategy to help you grow. And those are the 4 people that I usually say. But there's so many other people, but I believe that
Absolutely.
you need to seek expert guidance. And that's my greatest honest opinion when it comes to expert advice. But last but not least, I will just give one more, is you need to have a customer centric approach. When
Mhm.
you can study your clients and you're very close to your clients and really understand it. And when I say close, I don't mean like we BFFs. I mean, understand what is it that they currently need for your business to grow. That's when it's going to make a world of a difference. So definitely stay close to your clients to understand them.
Yep. And that's some really good sound advice. That is something that I definitely started implementing after working with you is doing more touch points with my clients, not just talking about their financials, not those touch points where like I'm the one talking, I'm the one giving all of the information, but touch points and understanding what do you like to see? What do you feel is valuable, right? What would
Mhm.
you like to accomplish? What are some of your goals that you're trying to achieve? Because that's going to make me a better service provider for that
Yeah.
client. You got to give the people what they want. I say it all the time. Give the people what they want.
20%. Hold the
Right.
20% down. You keep that 20% really happy, is going to be a game changer. And I think that's what made me very successful as a hairstylist, was
Right.
because I understand I was in the people building business,
Mm-hmm.
not the doing hair business. And it's the
Yes.
same approach that I have as a pricing specialist and income
Mm-hmm.
strategist. I'm in the people business. So I build you up. My business will always prosper because I'm
Mm.
people focused rather than profit focused.
That's so good because it's the same thing. It's all about relationship, y'all. So I had to learn really quickly that I'm in the relationship management business. That's what I'm
That
in.
part.
I do
Mhm.
taxes, but guess what? I'm managing relationships. I'm building relationships. That's what I'm doing.
That's all you're
Um,
doing. That's if you're service based, that's
that's
all you're doing is
that's
building relationships.
all you're doing. That is all you're doing. Well, this has been a very engaging conversation. I know that you all had your questions and stuff in the comments, and we addressed them all. Okay. And if we missed it, we will be sure to address it before the end of the show. So thank you so much for being so active in the comments. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. So before we let you go, Angelica, do you mind please sharing with the people what's the best way of getting in contact with you?
Yes. So if you want to hang out with me on these online streets, I love LinkedIn. So
LinkedIn.
that's my
Okay.
playground, right? So LinkedIn is my playground. And then I have my own personal show, which is the Angelica Prather Show on YouTube. And I drop videos literally every day. They are practical business strategies, talking about price strategy. And then we also talk about business biblical principles. So I do teach from the Word of God. So if that's your jam, you better come over there and get the Word and get some business strategy. So that's where you can
Yes.
connect with me.
I love it. A 2 for 1, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. I'm especially grateful that you pivoted because I've been following you for a while. So I'm especially grateful to see that on Front Street, right? Let's be unapologetic about our faith in our
Yes.
relationship. I love it.
Mhm.
Absolutely love this new approach for sure.
Thank you.
So is there any special offerings? I know we told the people to wait until the end.
Yes. So I have wrote a faith and finance book, and it's going to give you biblical principles, prayers, but also strategies exactly how to
Mm,
run your finances according to the word of God in business. So this
love
is a great tool. It is a good read, and I think that you will find tremendous value. So I'm going to be offering that for free before it actually goes on sale. So before it's going to be free all the way up into after Cyber Monday. And then it's
it.
going on sale after Cyber Monday because I believe in the spirit of generosity.
Mm,
So take advantage. If
that's
you find this video after, sorry, boo, it'll be for sale.
right. So we'll make sure that we have all of the information in the comment section or in the bio section for this video, so you can take advantage of that gift. And thank you so much, Angelica, for blessing the Five Finance audience with that gift. So I know you all had an engaging conversation, and I know you were all participating in the comments, so we appreciate that. Angelica, so grateful for you stopping in. It is always a pleasure every time you come and visit us. You know, we're going to have you back on.
Okay, I'm ready.
Well, thank you so much. If
Thank
you could
you.
say bye to the Five Finance family, but please wait backstage for me.
Bye, 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 dance family. Thanks for having
All right. Wait backstage, please. All right, y'all. So again, another empowering and very impactful episode, especially for my small business owners, entrepreneurs that are just starting out, or people that have been in business for a while. Definitely understanding like how to approach pricing and income diversification is a game changer because there is a certain thing called business burnout. And I don't want you all to suffer from that, right? That's what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs. So hopefully, this live that happened tonight was something that has you thinking about, hey, maybe I do need to try a different approach. And if that is what you need to do, then definitely make sure you connect with Angelica, right? She's going to get you all the way together. And does it from a place of love, right? And also from a biblical aspect, which I can really appreciate being a believer myself. right? So make sure you connect with her. So again, thank you so much for watching until the very end. I know that you're going to be blessed by the gift that Angelica has agreed to give to the Five family for watching. Please make sure that you are liking and sharing this video. If you thought this was some amazing content, I want you to please make sure that you like it and share it with a fellow entrepreneur. Make sure that you are also following us on LinkedIn. Make sure that you're following us there. We also produce content and we put it on LinkedIn. So make sure you follow us on our LinkedIn page and you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I forgot to say that earlier. And last but not least, if you want to connect with me on a one-on-one basis, and do some tax talk, right? If you want to implement some tax strategies so that you can keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket, visit my website and you can book a tax strategy call with yours truly, all right? So again, Five Family, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of the Tax Takeover. I hope that you found it informative and very educational and mostly empowering, all right? So until next time, Five Family, don't forget, it's never too late to start tax planning. I see you all next week. Have a good one.